This presentation is on calculating the part of fortune and two different methods that you can use. When we talk about calculation for astrology, we're actually talking about base 60. And it's not as scary as it sounds because we do this all the time when we work with minutes and hours in a 24-hour day, as well as with longitude and latitude. 60 seconds is equivalent to 1 minute, 60 minutes to 1 degree. The zodiac itself we map from the sky to a chart in a 360-degree circle. This means you can convert every sign to a numerical value and do calculations such as those required for the lots, also known as Arabic parts. So here is a picture of the zodiac starting with Aries, and you can see each sign is 30 degrees. And if you start with Aries at 0, then you go to 30 at the beginning of Taurus, 60 the beginning of Gemini, 90 the beginning of Cancer, all the way around until you reach a full 360 degrees. Here's the same information, just done as a chart. Here's an example of how you would use this. If you had a planet at 16 degrees Capricorn, to calculate its absolute longitude position, you would add 270 degrees because that's Capricorn's position on the 360-degree circle. The Arabic parts are calculated using different points and planets in the chart. The part of fortune is the most commonly used, and it has two different formulas. If you're born during the day with the sun above the ascendant, you calculate the ascendant plus the moon and subtract the position of the sun. If you're born at night, where the sun is below the ascendant-descendant line, then it's ascendant plus sun, subtract the moon. This is a chart for Johnny Depp, and it's done in whole sign houses. You can see the ascendant is in Leo at 12 degrees. The sun is above the horizon at 18 degrees Gemini, and the moon is at 13 degrees in Capricorn. So, what we would do is take each of those points and convert them to being degrees in a 360-degree circle. So the ascendant in Leo, we add 120 degrees to the 12. Sun in Gemini, we add 60 degrees to the 18 degrees, and so forth. So now we're ready to do our calculations. Daytime birth, the ascendant at 132 degrees 26 minutes will be added to the position of the moon at 283 degrees 48 minutes, and then we will be subtracting the position of the sun at 78 degrees 02 minutes. We get 337 degrees 72 minutes. To convert our answer, we need to do a couple of things. First, we start in the minutes column, and you'll notice that it's more than 60 minutes. Well, you can't have more than that. So we need to subtract 60 minutes from that column and add 1 degree over in the degree column, because 1 degree is equal to 60 minutes. That gives us 338 degrees 12 minutes. Our next step is to find where that is in a 360-degree zodiac, and that is the beginning of Pisces. So we subtract the 330 from the 338. The part of fortune then is at 8 degrees Pisces, 12 minutes. And here you see that position here in the chart. There's another method of doing this, and this method is actually really good for eyeballing where the part of fortune might be. In this method, we're taking the distance from the sun to the moon in a daytime birth, then that distance is added to the ascendant. Now, one way to do a traveling by arc is very simple. Count by signs. So this is a daytime birth. The distance from the sun to the moon is the same as from the ascendant to the part of fortune. So if we start with the sun at 18, then we would add 30 degrees to get it to the next sign, another 30 degrees into Leo, so we're at 60 degrees, gets to be 90 degrees in Virgo, 120 in Libra, 150 in Scorpio, 180 in Sagittarius, and then at that point we don't have a full 30 degrees to go. We would just add however many degrees from the 1802 to the 1348. Then you add that to the ascendant. That's the distance between the ascendant and part of fortune. If you find that one to be a little tricky, then you can do a similar calculation as we did before by converting the degrees and minutes within a sign to the degrees and minutes within the 360 degree circle. Then we find the distance between the 2 points and add that distance to the ascendant. So here we are once again in a daytime birth. We're wanting to subtract the sun's position from the moon's. The moon is at 283.48 and the sun is at 78 degrees 02. That gives us 205 degrees 46 minutes. We add that to the ascendant. Our total then is 337 degrees 72 minutes. Once again, we subtract 60 minutes from the 72, add 1 degree to the 337, and our adjusted result, 338.12, we subtract the 330 degrees for Pisces, and we are at 8 degrees 12 minutes. Sometimes it's not so simple. What happens if the number you want to subtract is larger than the other number? That happens with the minutes. Because 1 degree equals 60 minutes, you can borrow a minute. If the number is larger with the degrees, you can actually borrow a circle, 360 degrees. So 6 degrees Aries could also be considered 366 degrees Aries. Here's our general calculation for part of spirit. Now part of spirit is the reverse of the part of fortune. In a daytime birth, the part of fortune is the ascendant plus the moon minus the sun, and the part of spirit is the ascendant plus the sun minus the moon. We would do calculations the same way we did before. We've converted the ascendant sun and moon position into the 360 degree circle. So we add the ascendant at 132 degrees to the sun placement at 78 degrees. That gives us 210 degrees 28 minutes. Well, now we're going to subtract the moon, but we have a problem. 210 degrees is smaller than what we are subtracting. The moon was in Capricorn and it came out to 283 degrees 48 minutes. So we are going to have to borrow 1 degree on the minute side, and we're going to have to add 360 degrees to the degree column. Here we are, borrowing 1 degree from the degree column. 210 goes down to 209. Then we add that degree as 60 minutes to the minutes column, so our minutes are 88 minutes. Now we can subtract. Once we do that subtraction, we get 286 degrees. We take away 270 for the start of Capricorn, giving us 16 degrees, Capricorn, 40 minutes for the part of spirit. We can also do the part of spirit just as we did the part of fortune using the arcs. This time we are taking the distance from the moon to the sun and adding that to the ascendant. So we go moon to sun, starts out in Capricorn, 30 degrees gets us to Aquarius, 60 degrees to Pisces, 90 to Aries, 120 to Taurus, 150 to 13 degrees 48 minutes in Gemini, and then we just need to calculate that extra little bit between that position and the sun. We add that to the ascendant, and we get the part of spirit. Once again, we can do that same type of calculation only putting all the different points into the 360-degree circle. So in this case, we're subtracting the moon from the sun's position, and we have a problem. You cannot subtract 283 degrees 48 minutes from 78 degrees 2 minutes. First, take a degree from the degree side and add it to the minute side. That becomes 77 degrees 62 minutes. Then we borrow 360 degrees and we add it to the degree side. So we add 360 plus 77 to give us 437 degrees. Now we can actually subtract the position of the moon at 283 degrees 48 minutes. Our final calculation gives us the distance between the sun and the moon is 154 degrees, 14 minutes. We add that to the ascendant, 286 degrees 40 minutes, subtract our 270 for its position in Capricorn, and once again, part of spirit at 16 degrees Capricorn, 40 minutes.